Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Mosab Hassan Yousef and Professor Ran.
I guess we'll start. We're a little bit late. Apologies to the audience at home and here. We are both from the Middle East after all, so just a tiny bit late. Thank you so much, Noga, Eden. You want me to use this? Better? Okay. Thank you so much to Noga and Eden and all the students, undergraduate students, business school students, graduate students, for your tenacity, your perseverance, your wisdom, your action, and for making this event possible. Of course, to you, Mr. Yousef, for being here with us, and for all the audience, both here and at home. Thanks so much for attending this, what we think is a very important event. Mr. Yousef, I'll cut to the chase. This is your book. It's a bestseller book in the New York Times. And the title is Son of Hamas, a gripping account of terror, betrayal, political intrigue, and unthinkable choices. One of the words caught my attention in particular, and that's the word betrayal. There are those who accuse you of betraying Palestinians. Are they right? Are they wrong? What's the answer?
Well, first of all, good evening to everyone, and thank you for having me. It's a great honor. Yes, this is my choice. I choose the word betrayal because the eve of publishing this book, I knew that my people would label me as a traitor. It's not like I was committing a crime and they cut me in the act, then this is my punishment. I walked away and I should not feel guilty about saving human lives because this is what I did. Now, if a majority of my society believe that saving a human life, stopping a suicide bomber from blowing up himself and killing many civilians in the process, if they think that this is okay, I don't have to think the same way. And if my punishment for saving a human life is to be shunned, to be accused of treason, and sentenced to death, then be it. They can say whatever, and traitor or treason, according who? Hamas? Well, how about the entire system will come down? Then what is it going to be? One individual against an entire society praising suicide bombing attacks? And if someone goes against it, the only weapon they have to just say that this is treason, anybody tries to get them out of their comfort and challenge their narrative to help them get out of the cave of delusion, what we become? We become traitors. I knew what I was getting myself into, and they can say whatever they want to say. It's their problem. I know what I am, and I know who I am.
It's interesting you used It's interesting you use the word choice. I've been studying human choice for 30 years. I'm still not sure, do we have choice? Do we make choices or not? But perhaps what we can do is, we're not chosen where we're born. You were born wherever you were born, but we do choose. You did choose, and how we cope with it, what we do with that. And speaking of where you were born and your childhood, can you tell us a little bit about your childhood, and also more generally, what is it like to be a child or a woman or a homosexual individual under Hamas rule?
Well, the last one you need to ask the homosexuals. I don't know how it feels like for a homosexual in the Palestinian territories, but it's not acceptable, you know. It's a very closed society. Me as a child, I was abused by older people. I was beaten up. And of course, you know, I really avoid to talk about this. Even in my book, you know, I honored my father, I honored my people. I did not want to insult them or to make them look bad. But today, I choose to make myself vulnerable. And unfortunately, you know, when you make yourself vulnerable, people think that you are weak, you know. So this is why I avoid to talk about this stuff. But the amount of violence that I had to witness, and I'm not the only one, you know, it was okay, and it's still okay to beat up a child. You know, they do it at schools, they do it in the mosque, in the homes, in the street. It's a very violent culture. And I don't mean, you know, to make them look bad, but there is lots of abuse and there is lots of violence when it comes to children. And as a child of that region, you know, and unfortunately the children that we see today in Gaza, and we see them everywhere suffering because of the poor decisions and the choices that the leadership is making, they don't have anyone to speak on their behalf. You know, many people here on the streets protesting and advocating on behalf of the children, but they fail to condemn Hamas, the reason who's causing all this trouble. And now, nobody actually is advocating on behalf of those children because they cannot discern. They cannot see things for what they are. And as a child of that region, somebody have to speak up, or somebody has to speak up, has to stand up against those monsters. Otherwise, the cycle of violence will go for eternity. So it was not a nice childhood. And it's still not a nice childhood. Today, after 45 years, and I'm nothing but eyewitness. I'm not an expert on the thing. I did not come to the United States to publish books. I didn't think that you could make money out of books. I just wanted to speak on behalf of this continuing tragedy that the people, the leaders of what's so-called revolution, don't care for the children. You know, and if I was able to fight the good fight and just stay standing on my feet, this is too much. And who's fighting on behalf of the children? If we keep empowering the predators, the criminals who have been using them for so long by the name of revolution and by the name of Palestine, who cares about all the political entities? Let them go down to hell and let the people live. Let the children, the future of the children is what really matters. Not some hypothetical political entity everybody is fighting for. Who cares for another Arab country in the region if it doesn't take the children into consideration?